Coming up on Sports Central, everybody, we have a great show, including the guru of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football, Rick Brown. He is in the studio today. We also have Jessica Roberts talking about the Ironman coming up, and kind of an interesting event, geocaching here in Polk County. Check it out. We'll be back right after this. Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson, along with my illustrious co-host, Mr. Neil Duncan. No Hank Longo today. Oh my goodness gracious, but it is an honor, pleasure to have you in the same, general areas.
I understand.
Yeah, that karma.
Of course, Polk Outpost 27, Hank Longo up there in charge of visitor services, and
toilet overflow or something up there.
I don't know about that, but what we've seen in Polk County is the seasonality has changed, where we have visitors all year long, and they're busy up there. They're getting after it.
Yeah.
This segment brought to us by Sunsplash Vacation Homes. We want to thank them, one of our partners that make tourism sports marketing so successful.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, lots of credit goes out to Hank and all the crew up there. People coming in, checking out all the sports activities, arts and culture activities that we have to offer here, and a number of other things, Neil. But wow, more than $1 million worth of attraction ticket sales sold out of that location.
Absolutely.
Just phenomenal in the last 13 months.
Yeah, and it's great to continue to bring marquee events into Polk County. One of those is actually this weekend.
Oh, we've got some good ones.
Back the Ironman 70.3, and we talked about it on our last show, but it's very important, and it's a huge event, and the publicity we get for Polk County of having this event. So we brought on Jessica Roberts to the show to talk to us a little more about it.
Well, we're doing pretty good. Do we really need to, or?
No.
She said no.
Jessica, welcome to the show, and thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day. You're a running expert and sort of a cycling fan. Yeah, you're a guru in cycling. Yeah. Okay. How about swimming? Just so-so?
I can swim. That's about it.
Okay. So can my dog, but
Hey.
But he's not so good at the,
Yeah, okay.
He ain't going to make that. Ironman. Huge event, very prestigious, most prestigious event, triathlon in the world.
It is.
The organization that puts all of this together. A 70.3, now that's really technically a half of a marathon. It's tell us a little bit about the distance. I think it's like a 1.2 mile swim and a 56 mile
bike, and then 13.1 mile run.
Okay, 13-point-mile. Probably not in a week or so I'd want to tackle that.
You don't think so? Actually, it's just a couple days. It starts on Sunday. That race is on Sunday.
Yeah, but we have Iron Kids coming up on Saturday as well.
Yeah,
and
that's
then today,
tomorrow morning.
Which is Friday,
Yes.
May 17th. We have all sorts of things going on.
The expo is actually open, so it's great for enthusiasts to come in early, a couple days early. Check out the expo hall. There's vendors, great vendors from the industry, plus Ironman has its own store. Stuff to do was already set up. There's food already out there. And then tomorrow morning, the kids start. And the youngest is 6 years old, all the way to 15. And they
6 years old doing a triathlon.
Yes, and they start off in the pool. It's really cute. And they have their little huffy bikes, just like you would imagine. And then they do the run. Not quite sure on the distance, obviously a lot shorter.
Yeah, and that's a change this year, because last year they were actually in Lake Even. They moved them over to the pool for more of a controlled environment, and that. So that park is just perfect for this event.
It is. Plus,
Lake Eva being in Haines City.
Haines City.
Okay.
And it's a great course, because on both days, the families who come in to watch some of these triathletes take 6, 8, or 12 hours to finish the race. But because there's a playground there, there's food trucks there, there's things for the entire family to do. So mom or the wife, husband, kids can come in and just make a day of it while they watch their athlete. Basically, you see the swim right there. They run through the park. The transition to the bike is in the same park. So it's a different type of course, because usually you're having to go. You're out on this course at mile 16, then you have to get in your car and go over to this course, or this section of the course to see your family member, but it's all right there.
So the kids' triathlon starts at what time tomorrow?
7 o'clock, I do believe, Saturday morning, and then the main triathlon on Sunday starts at 6:30.
Starts at 6:30, and of course, all varieties of shapes, sizes, skill levels, and so on.
Yes.
The last number I heard was over 2,000 athletes in this.
41 states, multiple countries. There's a couple of people from Japan coming over. They were here last year. They're coming back. Jessica Jacobs won last year, and she is back. And then, of course, Lance won last year. He is not there. But so we have a couple of returning athletes, too.
Oh. And you talk about Lance Armstrong, and we won't belabor the point about Lance. We all know what happened there and being suspended or banned or whatever. But he really did do good for this event because he came to this event last year, generated a lot of publicity. Now people in the Central Florida area are aware of it. Now, of course, he's not coming back, but the name recognition of some of these athletes isn't of Lance Armstrong, but you were talking world-class athletes that are coming in from all over the place to compete right here in Polk County.
Absolutely. And they got here early because they've got to get used to the humidity.
Right.
So they're here for about a week.
Well, Jessica didn't start there. Last year, after the race, I know Hank Longo and his visitor services crew put up all these permanent signs, like 30 some of them, some odd signs, I guess is what the number was. All along the cycling route. So people could literally go out there, they could test their times against, some of the best athletes in the world. You're not going to be Lance Armstrong, but the fact of the matter is, there's a benchmark. You can get up there and do it. And so people have been coming in on the weekends, even during the week, to practice for months and months and months beforehand. A lot of people don't recognize that part of it too, but that's, you're an athlete, you get out there and run. In fact, you're running in the Tiger Trot tomorrow. But being familiar with a course, that's important for a triathlete.
Especially on the bike. And what people don't realize, especially because we're Florida, we're flat, they actually ride on the ridge. And so they've got to prepare themselves for that.
Yeah, and it's tough. And you said the humidity is particularly brutal. Supposed to be 90 plus tomorrow, 90 plus on Sunday. That takes its toll. I've talked to a lot of people, and athletics myself. I don't mind the heat. It's the humidity that's just brutal, particularly in an endurance thing. So.
Yeah, and I believe Jessica Jacobs, I think she lives in Wisconsin, and so she's coming down here. I mean, it's a little bit
difference.
of
a well, certainly a unique event, and we're glad to have it back in Polk County. But another event we want to talk about before we get you out of here is the Geo Woodstock. What event is that? And it's a different kind of event.
It's a huge event.
Woodstock.
Geo Woodstock. It's actually almost, for the numbers purposes, it's as big as Ironman.
Yeah.
We have 1,800 pre-register attendees, and then they're expecting 200 to 500 just to show up next weekend. And on, I do believe it's Friday, they actually go to the Auburndale.
Lake Myrtle,
Auburndale Tico Trail, and then Van Fleet. And what they do is they do geocache, and they get together as a group, and they have all these, and they use a GPS, the coordinates that you see everywhere. And there are 30 caches along the Auburndale Tico Trail, and then there's 200 caches along the Van Fleet Trail.
Cash not as in
not dollars,
money.
No. Little
Trinkets.
Waterproof boxes, yes, and they just go and write down. They write that they were there. They put it back in the box. They hide it, secure it wherever it was, and then they just keep going. So that's Friday. Friday night they have a social at Circle B. And then the big event is
that where the
Saturday.
Woodstock part comes in? Because, when I think of Woodstock, it's just not exactly...
There's no music.
There's no music?
It's different.
It's different.
And there's all these other activities that went on there, so it's not like that, though.
No, I think it's a little more conservative.
Yeah, conservative,
yes.
And they talk about GPS stuff. And
yes, and there's an actual expo at Circle B on Saturday. And this is, again, a huge thing. Lots of people from other states, and then Europe is really big into geocaching, so we have a lot of international.
It's been around in Europe a long time.
We have a lot of international visitors for that.
In fact, this is so popular that we've actually had some complaints from, not really complaints, but concerns from some of the participants that these geocaches, they can't find hotel rooms because everything's booked up. Well, there's softball going on, soccer state cup going on, and the place is packed.
Yeah.
But it's been a busy, busy month. Of course, we had Mayfair by the Lake last week, and hugely successful, and all of that type of thing. So that's really interesting. Where can people get more information about this Geo Woodstock if they want to get involved?
It's geowoodstock.com is the website, and then they have the breakdown of the events, and it's an annual event, and they go to a different location each year, so it is unique. So the same group of people just travel together, kind of like a family reunion every year. So they picked Lakeland this year, so we're really happy to have them.
And this will be Friday, May 24th and Saturday, May 25th right here in Polk County.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's at Circle B, part of it. Part of it's right there at Lake Myrtle along the Tico Trail.
Yes.
Wow. There's some good stuff coming up, buddy.
Going on, yeah.
Holy moly.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of a lot of stuff going on, had a great attractions forum with Kermit Weeks. We had Adrian Jones from Legoland out at Lake Myrtle, along with David Price and Bill Lupfer from the Florida Attractions Association. One of the things that came up, of course, was all the activities going on out at Fantasia Flight. One of those activities, Mustangs and Mustangs. Pretty interesting. Mustang cars, Mustang airplanes. Check this out, everybody. Mark and Neil, we'll be back right after this.
Yeah, Kermit Weeks here, creator and founder of Fantasy Flight, which is where we're at right now. We're at a great event that we do once a year in April. It's called Mustangs and Mustangs. I brought my two P51s, and we got about 450 Ford Mustangs here as well.
This is our 1965 Mustang GT. It's a convertible. Amy and I got it about 5 years ago, and we started a restoration, which we still are working on, but we started driving the car in November 2012. The car is an original GT. We've added a 289 high-performance drivetrain in this car. It's a 4-speed. It's the car I always wanted. My first car was a 65 Mustang Coupe back in 1972, and I always wanted this car. So 5 years ago, I got a picture, put it in my garage, and started from there, and this is where we're at 5 years later.
Mustang show in Polk City, and we have our 2007 Roush Mustang convertible here, and this is about the 5th or 6th year that we've been here, and they've had this show about 16 years, and it's a very successful event. We've got years going all the way back to the mid-60s up till 2013, so we have quite a variety here for people to enjoy. We've only had this car for about 2 years, and we also have a 68 coupe that we used to show quite a bit, and now this is our show car. Easier to keep clean and easier to keep in good repair. Well, Jack Roush was gracious enough to come to Brandon Ford about 2-3 years ago, roughly, and he likes to sign. He signed the dashboard as well, and he signs people's engines and different things, and he's very gracious about that. He likes to come out and support the event.
This is a 1968 Mustang that I found that was sitting in the backyard 19 years, covered up with a tarp and in pieces. And I bought it home and restored it from the ground up. I put a 347 stroker in it, stroker engine custom built, putting out 415 horsepower, aluminum heads, roller cam.
if you missed it this year, come out and see us next year. Mustangs and Mustangs at Fantasy of Flight.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to this segment number 2 of Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson, my co-host, Mr. Neil Duncan. And Neil, wow, what a great segment with Jessica Roberts talking about the triathlon. There we go. Yeah, easy for me to say.
Ironman,
the Ironman triathlon. Yep, and the
78.3.
geocaching.
Geocaching, it's really one of those things that's catching on across the country. So we're just happy to have it here in Polk County. But this segment brought to us by the Hampton Inn in Winter Haven, another great tourism sports marketing partner that makes everything possible.
Absolutely, they are fantastic over there, and one of our top properties in the entire county. But Kermit Weeks, many thanks go out to him for making himself available for our terrific PGTV camera crew who are every place, everywhere, almost 24/7 it seems.
I don't know how they get it done. But,
I don't either, but yep, some terrific talent there. Well, Neil, we were counting the other day, number of days before the NFL
checking it off
preseason starts. It's not too far off, everybody. And, we really have a great opportunity. The draft is behind us, going into mini camps, and all sorts of things going on. But the man in Central Florida that knows more about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers than anybody else, anyone, is Mr. Rick Brown.
Oh, I thought you were going to say me.
No.
We are happy to have Rick with us, of course, the beat writer from the Ledger Media Group. And Rick, welcome to the show, and it's always a pleasure to have you here.
My friends, how y'all doing today?
Hey, we're doing great.
Hey, one thing before we start, let me ask you, did I hear something about Woodstock and music? No,
how long do you know Mark Jackson? You did not give him a second opportunity to say something.
I was just curious. I thought I'm getting old now, so my
So
hearing.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes, the Bucks.
Well, you look at the Bucks last year, and in the season they had, and of course, a brand new coach, Coach Schiano, and what they were trying. He was trying to instill a toughness about them because Raheem Morris, the previous coach, was more of a players coach, buddy, really, it's just a different philosophy.
It is.
He came in and we're not going to do this. And very demanding and that type of stuff. And he really changed the attitude within the Buccaneer organization. Now, they had a lot of needs going into the draft. Okay, so we're going to talk about that, but probably the biggest news that we need to talk about right away is how does it impact the Buccaneers now that number 20, Rondé Barber, has retired? Probably the last piece of that Super Bowl team is now gone from the Buccaneers. You've been around Rondé for a long time. What was that like, his announcement, and where do the Bucs go from here without Rondé Barber?
It really wasn't much of a surprise when Rondé decided to retire. 16 years, and what he's done for this organization was amazing and was incredible. And think about it, guys. 15 years at cornerback. 15 years and 13 straight years of never missing a game. Think about that, guys. 13 years of never missing a day at work. I can't say I've done that before.
He wasn't the place kicker, is what you're saying.
You're absolutely right. And at a physical position like cornerback, where you have to deal with the wide receivers, deal with the running backs, deal with linemen, and then his last season to play at a Pro Bowl type level because he was a Pro Bowl alternate, to move to safety and still put up high numbers. Well, you would think, he could have come back. It wasn't like he decided to stop because of his play had diminished, like we've seen athletes do in the past.
Hold on for too long.
Hold on for too long. No, he decided to get out when the time is right. This was the right time for him. What it does, though, it leaves a little void in the leadership department for the Bucs.
Right.
Someone's going to have to step up and take that mantle and say, okay, guys, this is my team now. This is our team. We have to do it collectively now. Rondé did it his own way for numerous years, although he had help early on. Right. Still, they associated the Tampa Bay Bucks and Rondé Barber. When you say number 20, you think Rondé Barber. Mm-hmm. He's no longer there. Who's going to pick up that mantle? I'll tell you.
Just getting ready to ask.
Go ahead. No, Gerald McCoy.
Yeah.
They drafted him a few years ago to be that guy, to finally step up and be that leader. it is his time now. This is his defense. He made great strides last year. His first year since becoming a pro, playing all 16 games, and he was rewarded with a Pro Bowl pick selection. He was in the Pro Bowl.
Right.
So he is the natural fit. This is what the team wants. This is what the team needs, him to step up, take over that leadership and say, okay, this is my team, get on my back, let's go. He needs help, though, and I think he'll get it.
Well, we can talk about in the we're going to keep you around for a couple segments here because there's so much to dissect in this.
Indeed.
But you look at the things that Rowdy did, going back to him for a second. There is no other player in NFL history with 25 sacks and 40-plus interceptions.
That's right.
So you got to replace that. And I don't know that you can. Obviously, he won a Super Bowl championship. He's number 2 in NFL history in tackles by a defensive back.
And number 1 cornerback.
Right. So you're not talking about someone who played good.
Right.
You're talking about someone who played exceptionally well. And I guess my question, he was a third-round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was, out of UVA, 1997.
Is he a first-round Hall of Famer, first-ballot Hall of Famer?
You know, I went back and forth with this before he retired. And I always said no, because when you think of Hall of Fame, you think of the very best. And if you go back over Rowdy's career, was there any year that he was the very best corner? That he was the guy that, he wasn't that lockdown corner. He wasn't that corner who would just make play after play after play. But then I started looking at the numbers and doing research. And you see that, and you mentioned some of the stats, like the only player in NFL history to do this.
One, yeah.
The only player in NFL history to have 40 and 20. When you start talking about NFL history, that's something big. Mm-hmm. And over his career, the longevity of his career, along with the high caliber that he played, I now have changed my mind, and I think Rowdy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Wow.
Yeah. He's a guy with some impressive stats on an annual basis. Because he's always near the top. But when it comes to the Hall of Fame, there's a number of ways to take a look at it. Right. But the impact on the sport of football, National Football League, I don't know, it's a no-brainer, in my opinion. And I think his character has quite a bit to do with that too. He was a smart football player.
He was.
You know, he's not only smart, but he had good character in the locker room. So you add all of those things up, you're going, this is the type of guy that deserves to be in a Hall of Fame, not just because of 1 or 2 superstar years, but because of 15 years of quality play, setting records. Obviously, we talked about 25 sacks and 40 interceptions and all this type of stuff. Yeah, is that impressive? You bet. To me, the longevity is the deciding factor.
And I think that really has to go a long way in it because you said his body of work. It wasn't just 1 or 2 years. Right. He did this. It was each and every year. That's something, guys. And I think a lot of voters and a lot of fans sometimes forget, or they get caught up on lockdown corners, lockdown Deion Sanders, who didn't tackle, by the way, except for Bills, as he said in his Hall of Fame speech. Rowdy did it all. Yeah. He tackled. He caught interceptions. Right. He made sacks. He deflected the ball. He did everything, and his character was impeccable. For that, I think it deserves a nod.
Well, do you agree with the statement that he doesn't make the Hall of Fame for the first half of his career? Because he was overshadowed by Warren Sapp and Lynch and Derek Brooks and some of those guys. I mean, you look back at that defense, and it's like any great team. You don't realize in the moment how great they are.
Right.
Now you look back at that defense and some of the the horrible defenses that the Bucs have had since then. So he doesn't necessarily make it in those first years.
I agree.
The longevity, again, it's the longevity of what he was able to do over that course.
And I agree. And just the consistency.
Right.
That is why. And again, I cannot say this enough. When you start talking about NFL, the best in the NFL at these numbers, that's Hall of Fame.
Well, we need to.
We've got to go to break.
Yeah.
But we'll talk a little bit more about Rondé Barber in just a minute. Rick, about the only thing you haven't done with the Buccaneers is put on a pair of pads and getting out there at game day. And I want to get some of your insights into
I would love to see that.
And talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about the locker room, and some of those things. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back right after this with more Tampa Bay Buccaneers football and Rick Brown. Stick around. We've got some great footage from the Lakeland Derby and also the Rowdy Gaines Swimming Championships in Winter Haven. Check this out. Great stuff, everybody. See you in a minute.
The Rowdy Cup is traditionally the first long course meet of the year in the state of Florida. And long course meaning that the swimmers swim 50 meters rather than short course, which is 25 yards. So being the first long course meet of the year, we have over 631 swimmers from all around the state of Florida that are coming to swim here this weekend. Just this weekend alone, we'll have over close to 400 heats, which are races that'll be conducted tonight, Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. So it's a good opportunity. We have all the age groups from 8 and under. We'll have 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids, as well as 18, 19-year-old. Even we have some kids that have qualified for the Olympic trials that'll be swimming tomorrow as well.
The Rowdy Gaines pool is a full-size Olympic pool. It's 50 meters long and 25 yards wide. The max depth is 6 foot 8 inches, and it holds over 400,000 gallons of water.
This is our first long course meet of the summer, and it's a great way for our team to kick off. It's a local meet, and we always try to support the local meets in the area. We had a great fall and spring. We had kids qualify for high school states and Florida age group championships, and we're really excited about where the team's going and the progression over the team, because we've only been around for 4 years now.
Being a deck ref, I'm responsible for the swimmers that are in the pool, making sure that the right swimmer is in the right lane during the right heat, and as well as they adhere to the rules of USA Swimming to maintain the integrity of the race, and also, first and foremost, to ensure the safety of the swimmers in the pool. The Rowdy Cup is very significant, especially to us here in Winter Haven, because it's named after Rowdy Gaines, 3-time Olympic gold medal winner who's from here. The pool is named after him. And after his Olympic swimming career, he moved into broadcasting, and now he's considered the voice of USA Swimming. And we're very proud of Rowdy. He gives back to his community. These kids are thrilled to be able to swim in the Rowdy Gaines pool, and also thrilled to see him on TV being associated with world-class swimming. So it's a real thrill for all of us.
we've been a clinic for the working uninsured in Polk County for 12 years now. This has been our major fundraiser for 6 years. 6 years ago, we wanted to have a community event, something that honored the community for their 6 years of support. And we decided to do something a little unusual, something that wasn't done in Lakeland, and the Lakeland Derby was born.
Tonight was really fun because I got to spend it with my friends and walk around the lake. We saw a lot of cool events. The swan race was really awesome. I actually knew some people in it and they said it was really hard. It was really great to socialize with a whole bunch of people that I knew that I didn't know were going to be here.
This is our 6th year. We have several thousand people that come out every year that are supporters, that have a good time. We have swan races. We have 3 races with high school students and celebrities, and then sponsors actually own their swans for the day.
This event, I think it really accentuates Lakeland's beauty, and I'm really glad to know that people still come out and enjoy things like this with the community. I think it's a great way to catch up with everybody and just enjoy our city.
Key Club at Lakeland High School gave Levi and I the honor of being swan jockeys, for our school. We rode the wonderful number 7 Black Swan, and it was very challenging.
It was really entertaining, especially in the swan, trying to pedal really fast. It was a really good workout too.
Tonight, we had a photo finish between Rooms to Go and Bernetti Children's Foundation. Interestingly enough, this is the 6th year. Those are the only 2 teams that have ever won. They've traded back and forth every year, and this year it was neck to neck. Rooms to Go won this year, and Bernetti came in 2nd. It was a great race. It's still disputed with the jockeys, but the judges called it, and the crowd loved it, so it was a great time tonight.
Lots of vendors, and it was really fun. We had lots of music, and it was just laid back and fun.
My name is Ariel Farrell. I am from the Lakeland, Florida, lovely, lovely land of the swans. And I thoroughly enjoyed the event today. It was quite lovely. I just ate it up. It was all pinkies up, you know. It was just a fancy, fancy time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wore my finest hat for the event, and it was lovely, lovely. No, but really, it was a blast. This is the first time that I've actually created a hat. I actually didn't even know there was a contest, but I'm a very competitive person, so I thought, hey, I'll enter. I went for kind of like a vintage Steel Magnolias, classy Southern look, and it was a lot of fun. They had us all parade out in front, and it was great just seeing everybody's creativity. Some people had the giant swans and big bows, and I think it's just really something fun that the community can get involved with.
How long did it take you to create that? Medium cast?
Well, it took me about like 30 minutes.
We just want to say thank you to all of the supporters through the years of Lakeland Volunteers in Medicine. We couldn't have done what we do without you. You know, we'll see about 35,000 patient visits this year, and it's all because of the great volunteers and the great sponsors and donors to Lakeland Volunteers in Medicine. So we just want to say thank you to them.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson along with Neil Duncan. Some great footage there from the Rowdy swim meet in Winter Haven. What's really interesting about that, Eddie Twyford, who's very active in the city of Winter Haven, doing a little bit of commentary for us. I'm going to have to tease him about that. But the Lakeland Derby. Lakeland Volunteers in Medicine. What a great program. It's been going on for a long time. And, you know, it's another testament, if you will, to the quality of life that we enjoy in Polk County and certainly in the city of Lakeland and in Winter Haven with the swim meet and so on. It's all that's good about Polk County.
Absolutely, and it's great to be able to send out PGTV and send the crew out to not only the events that we're bringing in, but some of those local events that go on here in the community because it's a nice blend. And
well, we were just talking real sidebar here, off air with Al, who put that last package together using a Canon T4. I'm kind of looking over to Al right now to make sure I had that name right. But the fact of the matter is, you know, that's film production type quality. And I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at the shots, and going, this is unbelievable. You know, so again, a testament to PGTV, the quality of their productions, and the people they have putting it together.
Well,
so,
and we've talked about in the past that having this show gives us a competitive advantage when recruiting events to Polk County because we can show our event organizers we have the ability to promote the event in Polk County. So, great partner.
We could go on to that for a whole show.
Yeah,
but,
great partner on
nonetheless.
PGTV. Another great partner is Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill, who is the sponsor of this segment. And then going back to another great partner that's waiting on us to get back to him, the Ledger Media Group, and Rick Brown here to talk some more Buccaneer football. And we were talking about Rondé Barber and what his loss to the team and how Gerald McCoy needs to step up and probably be that leadership role. But a neat story coming out of the draft maybe, and we can kind of go down through the draft picks because the defense was horrible. But one of the pickups they made was on the offense side of the ball, the offensive side, with a running back from Miami who, oh, by the way, was from Ridge High School, Mike James. Tell us a little bit about that pickup.
How about that? Ridge community. Hey, congratulations to Ridge. I mean, not one, but two guys from Ridge. School just 8 years old, football program. The school is new, and they get two guys drafted in the NFL in the 6th round. Mike James from the Bucks and Vince Williams also got drafted, and that's just a neat story. And Mike James, neat kid. I mean, and I'm not just jiving because I've known him since he was in high school, and he is legit. And this is what I said when you look at Mike James' career. A lot of times he's been a backup running back, and he's followed behind some good backs down in Miami. But his senior year, he was named team MVP. Now, Miami wasn't a bad team last year, and to be named MVP of your team as a backup running back, that tells you about his leadership qualities, that tells you about his production on the field as well. What the Bucks said when they drafted him, which was amazing because Mike said that he grew up a Bucks fan. I mean, it's his home team. Right, yeah. It's the home team. So, but they compared him to another Buck back that people will recognize, Ernest Graham.
Yeah.
And when you mention Ernest Graham, you don't mention that lightly because Ernest was a very unselfish guy. I mean, he played running back, fullback. He went down on special teams, punt coverage. Whatever you needed, Ernest Graham would do.
He was a true team player.
A true team player. He probably would have sold tickets and popcorn if they would have asked him to. He's that type of guy. Mike James, when they mentioned him, and they held Ernest Graham in a high regard.
Right.
So for the general manager, Mark Dominic, to mention Mike James and Ernest Graham is on that level, that says a lot about what they think of this kid. And they want him to come in and be that backup to Doug Martin, who had a fantastic rookie year. They traded LeGarrette Blount, let him go. So now Mike James has a chance to come in, be that backup running back, be that guy who can play on all 4 downs, including, when we say 4 downs, we mean special teams as well. Right. And really provide that spark and be that community guy as well, which you've seen the Bucks do the last few years, trying to get character guys. Mike James is a character guy.
Well, another one, you know, we're talking about a 6th round pick here now.
6th round, yeah.
But, you know, a guy that just retired was a 6th round pick out of Alcorn State. And that guy's name is Donald Driver. all-time leader. Donald Driver came from literally living in the back of a car when he was a child to one of the most beloved players in Packer history and the all-time receptions leader. The point is that I don't care if you're a 6th-round pick, it's what's up here, it's what's here, and then, of course, what's in the legs.
Oh, yeah.
But it's,
Tom Brady.
There's another one.
Exactly.
6th-round pick.
You can go all the way through, but the neat thing I think about this is, of course, Ahmad Black is on the Bucs roster. You have 2 Polk County guys, Ahmad from Lakeland High School, Mike James from Ridge High School, that are on the Bucs roster. Okay. Some counties in this, a lot of counties, most of the counties in this country don't have 2 players in the entire NFL.
You're right.
We have 2 on the same roster. Last year had 2 on the same roster up in Pittsburgh with Chris Rainey and Pouncey.
Marquise.
Marquise Pouncey.
Right.
So it goes back to the insanity of the talent that is Polk County when it comes to athletics.
Rick, just to touch on that a little bit, we're going to digress because we want to certainly focus on the Bucs in this segment, but talent that's coming out of Polk, you got to have some. Number one, you got to have some great coaching.
Yes.
Some great genetics, and some great training, and so on. If you could pinpoint, maybe I covered them all. I'm not sure, but there's something. Maybe it's in the water. But can you share some insights into that? I've always been curious about that.
It starts with the person, the individual, because you have to want to be great. And when it comes to even getting to college, you have to have that certain pizzazz, that certain it factor to even be great enough to earn a college scholarship. And then to jump up that level to the NFL, you have to want it. So I think it starts within the individual. But you cannot leave out the coaches. I mean, they nurture you. They guide you in the right direction. Whether it's coaches, principals sometimes, they keep those athletes in the right direction, on the right path. And it's a combination. It's not just one thing. If it was just one thing, the NFL would be overrun with talent.
Everybody would,
everybody would. I would have been a 1st-round draft pick if it was just one thing.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I'm trying not to here. Trying not to. But you get my point here.
Right.
So it's a combination of things, and Polk County is just fortunate enough to have the coaches who have been around, the longevity, the Bill Castles, the Richard Tates, who have been able to nurture these guys to maybe even put a little fire under their behinds. And now look at them. And it's a wonderful thing. The Ernest Joes and Kathleen, it's just a great thing.
Another good one is real quick, and we found this out through a number of things that we've done, but having this player's mom on this show a couple of times, just loved it, and that's Wayne Gandy's mom.
Yes.
But I think at home, when you have a Mama Gandy like that, who is just one of the nicest ladies, she loved coming on the show and just talking, and well, if he gets out of line, and she could probably take him down. I mean, she's a spirit.
That's Mama.
But she kept him grounded.
Indeed.
And even at the football camps, if she would say something, yes, Mom. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, the guy's 30-some years old, and, Mama Gandy says something, yes, ma'am.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Okay. Yep.
Real quick, obviously, a lot of athletes to honor. June 25th, the All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We're going to talk more about those individuals coming up soon. And it's a wealth of talent here in Polk County. But speaking of very talented individuals, the Bucs had one of the worst defenses in the NFL and probably the worst secondary in the NFL. Essentially used their 1st-round pick at the 13th spot when they traded with the Jets to get Darrelle Revis.
Yes.
Do you like that pick or the trade? And what do you think it does for the defense just with him? And they've made some other adjustments on defense. So let's talk about the defense getting better.
I thought it was a great 1st-round pick. I mean, it's not too often that you get a all-pro corner who can do it all. A shutdown corner. We were talking about what Rondé isn't. This guy is a shutdown corner. This guy can make a difference. And if healthy, because he is coming off the ACL, if healthy, and if he can return to that form, he helps the Bucs tremendously. You add him with a Deshaun Golden, who was brought over in free agency at safety to virtually replace Rondé. You've upgraded your secondary. And from now you go from the worst secondary in the NFL to perhaps one of the best, especially with the pick of Jonathan Banks in the second round of this year's draft. So you pick up 2 corners and an all-pro safety.
One of which played in the Super Bowl last year.
Exactly. That's great.
You turned it around.
You turned it around quickly.
Yeah.
And now if healthy and if they can pick things up, the secondary has improved tremendously.
Jump on injury. Just you said something that sort of intrigued me, but you know, injury huge factor in the NFL, career-ending many times, and you know we see all sorts of different types of therapy and rehabilitation and all of that type of stuff. Is an injury today as career-ending as it was, say, 10 years ago? In other words, are the tools, the medical tools, sports medicine there today that can prolong someone's career and elevate their performance at the same time?
Definitely. I mean, just technology-wise, I mean, things are. Remember, in the days you get ACL, your career's over. Now, I mean, Adrian Peterson last year came back in 5 months and was.
That's what I was going right here.
And didn't miss a beat.
And ran for 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
So it's incredible now. You can do it, and you're better now.
I asked you last night on the radio version of Sports Central on Talk 1430 WLKF, but is this a playoff team?
Right now?
Did they get better in the offseason with the personnel changes? Now, injuries, like Mark said, a lot of things can change it, but on paper right now, is this a playoff team?
On paper, it is a playoff team. On paper, it's a playoff team, but as I always said, the Washington Redskins should have been Super Bowl champions many times in the past.
You know, we can't get through a segment without the
On
Packers
paper.
or the Redskins.
You have to
you
do
know
it
what?
on the
Buccaneer
field.
fans, I'm there for you. I'm not talking about anybody else.
You
The
have
Tampa
to
Bay
do it
Buccaneers.
on the field. They have to do it on the field. We'll see, but on paper, yes.
But that's the content of our character, Mr. Duncan. Correct, Rick?
Correct. Indeed.
Hey, with that, thanks for coming. We're going to go to break.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys, as always.
Well, we've got to get you back to talk about preseason. You know, maybe we can plan that in July or something, and let's see how things are looking after preseason.
Let's do it.
That would be awesome. Hey, Rick, sincerely, thank you so much. We always enjoy seeing you, and you've got a long summer ahead of you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, wow, unbelievable stuff. And we were talking about superstar athletes. One of the things that we've started up is an up close and personal on local athletes. And we have a young lady from McKeel Academy, lovely young lady named Amber Presto. And she is a softball star with an interesting story. We think so, and we think you will too. Check this out. Hank replacement, Neil Duncan, and Mark Jackson will be back right after this. We'll see you soon.
I started playing softball when I was about 6 years old, and my brother had started playing baseball and he was in the sport, so softball was my way. I started out with t-ball and then went to softball because of, once it splits up, the ages and some of that, and you got to be a girl so you play softball. So people who inspired me are definitely my family, especially my brother, who I just mentioned, and my mom and dad basically supported me through the whole thing. It was something that when they told me, hey, why don't you play softball, I said, all right. And so once I started playing, they pushed me to be better, to work hard at it, and with that success, they kept pushing me, and they were so proud of me. It's like, I love that, and they inspired me to keep going. You got this. You're really good at it. Keep going. My biggest accomplishment would be getting a scholarship to Auburndale University. I'll be playing for Tim Speakman, and it's been huge because playing and stuff like that, it only goes so far. After college, there's not really much you can do. So softball, unless you plan on doing something with it, it's not just a rec ball sport for me. It's something that I take serious and personal, and it's the reason for all my success, school, here, you know, family and everything like that. It's a very big structure for me, and that's, you know, reaching that highest point, that highest goal, you know, there's nothing else like it. At Ave, I want to study biochemistry. I want to eventually become a pharmacist, maybe do some pharmaceutical research. So after there, they don't have pharmacy exactly, so biochemistry is the route to go for there. And after I do the 4 years there, I'll probably go to USF, go to pharmacy school there, and, you know, just keep going on that route. I mean, the sport's in my blood. You know, I've played it for so long. I can't not play. Definitely coaching. I would definitely want to do that. Help girls, you know, same as me, grow up and be the person who I am. You know, influence some other people and, you know, help them out, and definitely play. You know, just I can't get enough of it. So they don't really have anything past college, but definitely slow pitch possibly. You know, take that extra swing, you know. My favorite athlete would have to be Matt Joyce, number 20 for the Rays, because I'm number 20, so it kind of matches. But he's very successful. He's young. You know, he was from here, Florida Southern, and, you know, I'm from the area, Lakeland, and he has been so successful. You know, even when he's in slumps, he picks himself out real fast. He plays hard and he plays smart, and he doesn't ever give up. As far as doing other things besides softball, not much. This year, being my senior year, on a whimsical kind of note, I picked up volleyball, and I played a little bit. You know, did pretty good actually. You know, picked up the sport. Wasn't Natalie Rosado, who's our top, you know, player of the year for it, but I did pretty well, you know, first year playing. I like to go fishing a lot with my family. We just recently got a boat, which was big dad choice. You know, he's always wanted one, so we started going boating out. You know, my mom, everything's a shark, so it's very exciting boat trip. My favorite subject in school is math. I've always caught on really well with it. It's become easy. Sometimes it's a challenge, but I know how to go about the different challenges, and even though the teacher didn't teach it a certain way, I could still, from past knowledge, like, understand it. And what I love about math so much is that it's black and white. Everything equals something, unlike English, where it's all over the place. Like math, you know, 1 + 1 will always equal 2, and it will never equal anything else unless it equals A, which equals 2. I would think people describe me as hardworking. I've always, no matter what the task is, you know, I put my full effort into it. I don't lackadaisical. You know, I work hard, and also very trustworthy, because when it comes to things like, you know, having to talk between, you know, two people, you know, keeping it there or anything like that, or even relying on me, you know, my goal is to not let anyone down. So I would feel that they, you know, see that, and that, you know, they keep coming to me, you know, asking for advice and that. They trust me. And even here in softball, you know, I got a whole team. I'm the only senior. They look up to me, trusting me, you know, to basically play for them and be a part of them. Before a game, I don't have a technical routine that I follow, but I will say with in the batter's box, the thing that gets me pumped up, ready to kill the ball, you know, is the song. It's not exactly appropriate, but the song Notorious Big Daddy. It's from the movie Hardball, which is a very old movie, but it's my favorite movie of all time. It's about, you know, a team that struggles, and this guy comes, and he's not the best authority figure, but the team teaches him that it's all about showing up and being there, which is really important. And it's the song, I love it when you call me Big Papa, throw your hands in the air. So that gets me going pretty well. One word to describe me would probably be determined. Because with everything I do, I'm determined to reach the next step, and determined to put my all in everything, and determined to make people happy, to be successful, etc. So that would probably be the main base of it.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson along with Neil Duncan.
Sure.
Hank Longo's replacement.
Moving right along. This segment brought to you by the Best Western Plus in Auburndale. Appreciate them. And again, we say it every time, every segment, a great partner of tourism and sports marketing.
Well, speaking of great partners, of course, we got the Ledger. And many thanks go out to the Ledger Media Group for providing Rick Brown. And as I said earlier, there's nobody better, nobody covers Bucs football like Rick Brown.
No,
I don't know how he does it, but he gets the inside scoop better than anybody. And again, thanks to the Ledger Media Group. We got some great stuff going on over there. We've got some big events, speaking of great stuff.
Yeah, upcoming, and this event comes to Polk County every year, and we're just so thrilled that they keep choosing to come back to Polk County, the Lakeland Center. The Florida Square Dance and Florida Square and Round Dance Convention is at the Lakeland Center on May 24th through the 26th.
Yeah, a lot of attendees there, 600, but the same weekend. Also, don't forget that geocaching that is going to be at Circle B. Yeah, I'm sorry, Geo Woodstock.
There you go.
Yeah, I need to go to visitcentralflorida.org to get the information on that. It is really pretty cool.
Yeah. FYSA, under 19 State Cup Finals will be May 25th and 26th at Lake Myrtle Sports Park.
And what follows that is an Olympic development program the following weekend, starting June 1st, Neil.
Yeah, but don't forget the Carillon Classic will be May 25th. That next weekend
that's
is
a 5K.
That's a big event, and that's going to be at Bach Tower.
Tiger Trot tomorrow, which is May 18th, and that's a big deal, along with Ironman 70.3.
Well, don't forget tomorrow night also at Tiger Town, when they have the game, it's going to be the Salute to Armed Forces, so they'll have that going on, as well as the fireworks. So if you're watching live today, you go out there to Tiger Town tomorrow night and check that out. Just a great job that Ron Myers and Zach Burek and the whole Tigers organization, probably one of the greatest values for family entertainment in Central Florida.
Well, you think it's busy now? It's going to be getting busier all summer long. Great stuff going on out at Legoland. Don't forget to check that out, and our other great parks throughout Polk County, including Bach Tower and Fantasy of Flight. Neil, we've just been blessed with the number of sporting events, and it certainly has led to better economic climate here in Polk County. Certainly new money coming in that makes us all better off.
Yeah, and some of the partners, we talk about it all the time, but some of the partners we want to thank right now, Abuelo's, Hampton Inn, Lakeside South, Days Inn and Suites, Harry's Old Place in Winter Haven, and Hollywood Window Tinting and Signs. We really couldn't do it without our partners, and making our efforts those efforts stretch even farther to get as many people into Polk County as possible.
Absolutely. We call it prosperity through partnerships, everybody. Wow, what a fantastic show. Special thanks go out to our guests, Jessica Roberts and, of course, Rick Brown from the Ledger Media Group. Our next live show will be May 31st. But if you can't get enough of old Neil, almost said Hank, but I said Neil, and Mark Jackson, check out the following dates and times, everybody. This show does air every single day. We thank you much for your time. We extend our thanks to our special guests. This is Mark Jackson for Neil Duncan and PGTV. We'll see you again next time.